This is episode 26, The Faster Diet with Darin Steen, Part 2.
Welcome to the Reignite Podcast. My name is Todd Judkins, a former naval officer and corporate consultant turned life coach, and each week we'll bring you an inspirational person or message to help you discover how to reignite your life, get back in the game, and thrive in everything you do. Thanks for spending time with me today. Now let's light the fuse and reignite.
All right, Reignite Nation. Part 1 couldn't contain all the knowledge Darin Steen captured in his new book, so he brought Darin back for the Faster Diet Part 2. In Part 2 of this episode, Darin takes us deep into the super hack of what it means to be off the grid, an integral component of the Faster Diet, How to Fuel Your Body and Life by Darin Steen. In this episode, we're going to discuss how to get a good night's sleep, how to get up and get going with energy. We'll go into topics such as breathing, cryotherapy, grounding. Be sure to stay to the end when Darin shares his famous water hack. Darin's principles on fitness, nutrition, and just plain life are so in line with the Reignite lifestyle. So buckle up, Darin Steen is here with Part 2, and he continues to bring the heat. All right, Reignite Nation, we are back here with Darin Steen. As you recall, on the last episode, we talked about his new book, The Faster Diet, and it was just too much to contain in one podcast episode. So we are back here for Part 2, and today we are going to talk about going off the grid, how to slow down. Hey, Darin, how are you today?
Todd, I'm super awesome, and I'm very blessed, and I feel a privilege to be in here taking up time and attention from the Reignite Nation. So I'm happy and I'm awesome, ready to go.
Thanks a lot, Darin. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate all the value you're giving to, me and our listeners. But last time we talked about, the faster diet and how, what your approach is to eating. Tell me, what is this going off the grid? I am so intrigued.
Before I talk about that, Todd, I'd like to say that you and everyone listening right now, even if it's one person or 1,000 or 10,000, it's an honor and it's an investment because time is more valuable than money. So if people think that they don't have enough, they do have enough money, but they are giving me in this episode their attention, and that's an incredibly valuable investment, and I appreciate that. They need to look at it that way. That is very valuable to them.
Oh, that's awesome. Because slowing down for me is, we live in such a fast-paced environment. And I actually think to speed up your productivity, speed up your intentions, your manifestations, you have to actually slow down. And I know you're coming to us with these 10 productivity hacks on how to slow down. Where do we start?
All right. So going off the grid is a article I called my publisher. I said, stop the presses. I got to eke this chapter in because it's probably the most important stuff, more important than exercise, more important than eating, more important than just about everything. And they bought me on it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take this book somewhere else. These principles are going to go in my book. And actually, there's 14, Todd.
Oh.
There's 14 of them. So let's get started. I call them my peak performance mindset, reset, energy, focus hacks. I don't know if I like the hack word. I don't know how old the people are or how young they are. Hack I use it's not a magic trick. It is just something that is quick and convenient that you can do right now today that works and gives you momentum, gives you a victory, and then you get sold on it. So that's what I call a hack. So don't spin it around and think that a hack is something hokey pokey. So here we go. Number 1, sleep. You talk a little bit about sleep, right, Todd?
Sleep is one of my core topics. It's one of the core Reignite principles. And it's one thing that I'm noted for. They call me the sleep whisperer. So sleep is so important. It's something that we are not as a society getting enough of.
The sleep whisperer, here we go. Hopefully I can throw something out here. And if not give you something new, at least get you to refocus on something you haven't been doing on a consistent basis. And sleep gives us our body, our incredibly unbelievable body that we don't even know how it operates. Truly, God gave us something incredible. You can't duplicate the human body. It has all the powers in the world that it needs, and most of those powers intensify and regenerate while we're sleeping. The scientists don't freaking know what goes on when we sleep very much. It's so mysterious, it's mystical. So, number one, get your ass to bed. So, act number one, get your ass to bed. Here we go. 15 minutes before you normally start to shut her down at night, turn your computer technology off. Your computer, your cell phone, laptop, TV. I haven't had a TV in my house for 10 years, so it's a little weird for me to say, but turn it all off, turn the lights off, light 2 or 3 candles in your room, and just sit on the edge of your bed, and you got 3 or 4 options. Write an old-fashioned journal. If you don't have a journal, get a piece of paper out and just write down some thoughts out of your mind. Write down a couple to-do things the next day. Old-fashioned, write it out. Number 2 option is slow your breath down. We're going to talk about breathing here in a little bit, so I won't talk about it now, but just really we want to do nothing or something old-fashioned. Read 2 to 3 minutes out of an old-fashioned paperback book or hardback book. Or do a couple stretches. Stretch your hamstrings and your lower back out. I got a foam roller in my apartment, and I'll just roll out. And here's how you stretch, Todd. So everyone knows the standing hamstring stretch, basically. So you take a big breath in first, and you come up, and then you exhale, and you slowly sink into the stretch, letting your air out for 5 seconds. Relax your breath into stretches, and just enjoy the stretch. So there's a few options of what you can do for 15 minutes and then go to sleep without going back to your technology. It's pretty much as simple as that, Todd. Here's a couple of additions to get your ass to bed. And that is, get your Wi-Fi router out of your room as far away from your room as you can. Number 2, if you use your cell phone as an alarm clock, which I think majority of people do, put that sucker in airplane mode so the Wi-Fi technology is not coming to the phone. I don't care what anybody says. The vibrations going in and out of a cellular device is not good for our brain and our body. I can physically prove it to you by muscle testing where the muscles are weaker when you have the cell phone on your body versus away from your body. Those are super, super important, Todd. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. And that's something I totally support. In fact, what I recommend some people do is that, no matter where your Wi-Fi router is, put it on a timer, right? And there's cheap timers you can get at the hardware store, and that will control when your Wi-Fi is up and available. I know some people who are building new houses are even putting shielding around their bedrooms so that Wi-Fi can't penetrate. But here's I'd like to augment your hack on the sleep and the alarm clock, right? I actually use a light alarm clock. And what that is that it doesn't make any visible sound. What it does is it mimics sunrise. So if you have to get up, and I have a blackout room and everything, and I ensure that my temperatures are right and so much more around the sleep hacking, but I make sure that I wake up to the natural circadian cycle of the earth and that the alarm clock mimics the sunrise. So it actually starts to dim up 30 minutes before my waking time. And by the time my waking time is, I'm in full daylight in my room.
Dude, that is gold, and I'm writing it down. I'm doing it. It makes so much sense. Here's what we're going to add to it. 15 minutes after the light starts coming on, we're going to get a sound. That'd be great, right?
Yeah, I have actually, once it goes beyond that period, it actually have birds chirping. So that's kind of my key to start going into my meditation routine. So it all works out for me.
That is awesome. I'm going to do it. And you said something really key that I left out, and that's the cooler temperature in the room. And sleep naked. Sleep naked, cooler temperature in the room. If people listening would do 5 or 6 of these get your ass to bed techniques, they're going to notice a difference. And Todd, thanks for adding to that. That's awesome. Number 2, get your ass up. Okay, so here's how we do it. Very simple. Do not, I repeat, do not do this tomorrow. Do not hit the snooze alarm. How many times have you hit the snooze and felt better 15 to 20 minutes later? You never feel better. Don't hit the freaking snooze button. Here's what you're going to do instead. Close your eyes and count 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Think like little kids. See the rocket ship launching off the rocket pad. Foundation. Hit the off button on your alarm. Sit up. Take about 10 seconds. Sorry if I'm a little loud. I'm just freaking excited. And take 3 or 4 slow, long, deep breaths in, 3 or 4 long, deep breaths out. Walk into the bathroom. Just take a whiz if you have to. If you're fortunate enough not to get up 4 or 5 times in the middle of the night and go pee, it feels great to have to let that bladder go in the morning and not during the middle of the night. Throw some cold water in your face. Take another 2 or 3 deep breaths and look in the mirror. And then go back, sit down on the edge of the bed, and don't get on your cell phone or computer for 15 minutes. Don't answer emails, texts, social media, none of that bullshit. Do not do it. And here's what we're going to do. Most people say that they can't go to the gym and work out. All right, so again, just like get your ass to bed, you can, first things first, stretch your hamstrings and lower back with relaxing your breath into the stretch 3 or 4 times. All right, after that, just do a little cat stretch, yawn, open your upper body up. Stretching is amazing. It is simply amazing. So stretch your chest open. And here's the technique. Stand tall, arms straight out, go over, under this. Who's the swimmer? Not Mark Spitz. That's my generation. Phelps. So Phelps showed a lot of people like a stretch that he does, an active stretch where you go your arms over and under, open your chest, closing your back. Nice and easy. That's a great active stretch for your upper body. All right. Now, that takes about 5 minutes. Now maybe get on the side of your bed or your dresser and do 15 to 20 slow push-ups. Don't go down on the floor. It's too intense. And then just breathe in, get a stretch as you go down. Exhale, squeeze your hands together even though they don't move on the push-up and you feel the chest muscles more. Do 15 slow push-ups. And that's it. You're done. Your get your ass up routine is done. And guess what? You just exercise. So don't say you can't exercise. So that is awesome. Any questions about number 2? Get your ass up.
Yeah, no, the only thing I would add to that is to make sure you're turning on the lights. There's no reason to do that in the dark if you're waking up in pre-daylight. So if you're up, get the curtains open. That also activates your morning hormones along with the stretching. This is all just great advice. And I hope everybody's listening to starting your day is so key. And if you start your day the way Darin just explained it, your day is set up for success right off the bat.
That's awesome. Great. Thank you, Todd. And I got to stand up infrared vitamin D bulbs that I wake up to every morning. So it's easy for me to get the light in my room. But if you don't have that, you don't need it. Just open up the shades. All right? That's all you got to do. All right, number 3. So if you think it's hard to get up at 4 a.m. or an hour before you normally get up, and you want to hit let me back up. If you hit the snooze, what you're doing is you're hitting the first negative domino for the day, and guess what? The rest of the negative dominoes are going to keep going down all day long because you're running late. You feel like a little bit of a loser. Let's face it, you feel like you just can't do what you're supposed to do. And once you hit that first negative domino effect by hitting that snooze, they just generally continue. But once you get up and you do something you haven't done before with the workout routine in the morning, that was a 15-minute routine, bro. Anybody can do that. So you hit the first positive domino effect. Okay? So if it's a little hard for you to do the technique of 3, 2, 1, get up and blast off and hit the alarm off versus the snooze, if you know you're going to be able to do number 3, it's a lot easier. Siesta time. All right, it's as simple as this. I can wake up at 4 a.m. a lot of times before the alarm goes off, and I'm not going to have alarm anymore because I'm going to use the light alarm like Todd suggested because that's golden info. It's easy for me to get up because at noon I'm going to take a nap. And some people don't ever say you can't do something because you're right. You're 100% right. You can't do it. You're done. Just quit. Say, I can do that. You can take a nap. Todd, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get a little lavender scented eye mask that they use in yoga, or just a regular eye mask. It's got a strap, and you're going to get 2 earplugs. Once I put in my 2 earplugs and I put in the eye mask where it's dark, there's a little trend here, light, up, dark, sleep. And I've trained myself for 15 to 30 minutes to shut her down, siesta time at noon. So the point is, on number 2, get your ass up. And you're like, oh man, this is going to be a little hard. It's not so hard if you know you're going to have a siesta at noontime.
Yeah, no, oh no, that's really, really great advice, and you hit on something with the lavender scented eye mask, something that I deploy at night to relax and to really start putting my body to bed. And lavender and essential oils, I actually diffuse those in my room as well. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it works. So that was some great advice.
Thanks, buddy. Awesome. So if someone says that, okay, here's the deal. On the nap time, if you fall asleep for more than 30 minutes, and let's say an hour or two, then you got a problem that you're sleep deprived. That's probably not good because your natural circadian rhythm is going to be thrown off. But I'd still get the hour or two, try to catch up on your sleep. But ideally, 15 to 18 to 20-minute nap is really ideal. Now, it may take you some time to get there, and if you can't fall asleep, that's okay. Sit there and do some slow breaths and just clear your mind. Slow breath in, slow breath out. Clear the mind. If a thought comes in, that's okay, but just put it out like a minimizing computer screen, out to the side. Visualize it out to the side. Slow breath in, slow breath out. Lavender on your eye mask. Smell that lavender scent, earplugs, and it's okay. The first day or two, if you can't fall asleep, you're still going to feel rejuvenated even though you don't fall asleep. They did a study. Most people don't even know if they're really sleeping or not. It's like an hallucination. So if you think you're sleeping or you think you're not, sometimes you're wrong. So don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, I think that the only way I survived my early career as a naval officer is using those techniques that you just presented. Those little micro sleeps, those siesta, those power naps, what we used to call them in the Navy. I think that literally just saved my naval career and helped me get through, a lot of times when you are on the go, high stress and needing some extra energy for your body.
Woo, woo. Here we go, Todd. We better kick it in gear because I got 14 of these.
All right, let's roll.
Who's heard of cryotherapy? A lot of people. Well, who's heard of a cold shower in the morning? A lot of people. I am here to tell you, and here's the first thing I hear when people say, I can't do a cold shower. Well, no shit. No one can do a cold shower. So, do your warm, hot shower first. Do whatever you do in the shower. Shave. I love hot water in the morning. Let's face it, it's awesome, right? Okay, first of all, again, don't say you can't do something, because when you say that, you're right. You can do a cold shower, Todd. In fact, I'm gonna check in with you tomorrow, and if you don't do this technique, I'm never talking to you again. And you're gonna be able to prove yourself. You're gonna be able to increase your focus, productivity, and get more shit done before 9 a.m. than most people do all day tomorrow. Want to bet?
Yeah, well, yeah. Let me hear this because I have something to say. Go ahead.
All right. So do your hot shower, and it feels great. And after right when the point when you start to get out of the warm shower, with that feeling when the hot water heater's done and it starts losing its, that's where the cold shower water begins. So here we go. Now just turn it 1/4 towards the cold. So not full cold, just 1/4 towards cold. Put your face in it for 10 seconds, back out. Put the top of your head in it for 10 seconds, then back out. Put the water on the back of your neck vertebrae for 10 seconds, back out, and then put a bad joint in for 10 seconds. For me, it was my hip before I got my hip replacement. And then start the procedure over again. And then, before you do that, then turn it 1/4 again towards colder, so it's a little bit colder, but it's really easy to take. Now it's getting a little bit colder, so do the same procedure again. And while you're in there for 5 to 10 seconds, slow breathing down. Embrace the coldness. And, we tend to tighten up when it's a little cold. It's not that bad. But relax, hold the tightness, embrace it, and breathe into it. So relax everything. Same thing. Face for 10 seconds, top of the head for 10 seconds, back of the head for 10 seconds, bad joint for 10 seconds. All right, that's easy. Get for $10, get a suction cup handle, because you want to close your eyes and put on the shower wall so you can hold that stuff. Because it's a little dangerous if you don't have something to hold. On my blog, I got an affiliate link for Amazon. Just Google it. You don't have to look at my affiliate link, but you can get a handle so you can hold something as you close your eyes in the shower. Obviously, that's safe. And then you turn the third time. You turn the 1/4 closer to all the way cold. It's quite a bit colder, but it doesn't feel any colder. It's easy to handle. And then you do it again for a 4th time. And you'll get addicted And here's another side note. Right when you start the cold water procedure, I clog up the bottom of my shower so that the hot water is on my feet. So that way it just sort of feels good because hot water is on your feet, but cold water is on your face. And that way, because in the beginning I did get a little bit so cold that I was shivering afterwards for a while. But it's nice to have the warm water on your feet while you're doing the cold water on your upper body. And after 4 times, you're doing it. The main thing is on the third and the fourth round is to embrace the coldness and relax your tension in your body as you're breathing while you got that body part under the cold water for 10 seconds. And that's it, man. You get out, and then who turned me on to this technique? Everyone wants to say, I'm going to go to cryotherapy. It's expensive. There's not a lot of cryotherapy shops around. Who's going to stay consistent? Tony Robbins has got one. If you're wealthy, you can have one. But this doesn't cost anything. It's quick, convenient. I think cold showers in the morning, and yes, anybody can do this, is more effective than a cryotherapy chamber that's sort of cool, but you're not going to stay consistent with it, Todd.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, use of temperature, especially in the showers, is something that that's why I said I was kind of laughing. Let me come back to it because I got more to say because I already do that, and it's kind of interesting because everybody knows I live in the Southwest and it can get very, very warm here. And that means our cold water is not as cold as what you would think in other parts of the country. So I actually augment that with thermogenesis, and I have like cool packs that I can put all over my body to kind of get that same temperature effect.
Yeah, that's a great point. I never thought about that. Your water in your shower home is not going to get as cold because the temperature outside, I'm assuming, or it's just on the water heater?
No. It's just really because of the temperature outside. We are it's a warm weather climate, even in the wintertime. So in the summertime, especially, the temperatures are climbing north of 100 degrees. So cool water is what we consider cool, might be a little lukewarm in most parts of the country. So I actually augment that with ice packs.
It's awesome. And you're right. I'll tell you what, the water that comes out of mine, the cold water, here in Chicagoland, it is, I'm going to find a way to test the temperature, but it is cold.
Yeah.
And it is a challenge. At the end, it's like it's a challenge that's doable. It is unbelievable, the productivity. When I started doing this on a regular basis about 7 months ago, Todd, I almost instantly started getting more stuff done with networking, emails, texts, connections before 9 a.m. that I had gotten done in weeks, if not months. I'm not exaggerating. It is unbelievable how it's like nootropics and the most incredible brain food. It's just in a non-stimulant coffee way, it turns the brain on. It's amazing how to notice the difference when I do the cold water shower, how smart I become. It's crazy.
Yeah, and going back to your sleep, you can use, these techniques to, signal your body to go to sleep as well. It's something I do. Like if I'm, an hour or two before bedtime and, I want to get in the shower, I'm more focused on the cold. If I'm closer, I'm more focused on the hot. And if I'm closer to my bedtime, I kind of focus a little bit more on the cold. So that's just giving your body the signal to do what it knows how to do best. And I think that's the most important thing.
Amen, man. That puts it back in the car zone. You're so right. It's so easy to come home from a long day and say, I don't have 5 minutes to get in the shower, but man, my evening and my sleep goes better when I get in the shower and I clean off a little bit. I don't stink, which is nice. But the temperature, it really changes things that are noticeable. So that's a great point. And I'll tell you what, Todd, I hope we can get all this in because I can't skip any of these. All right, so let's get to number 5. If I go a little bit long because we got 14, maybe we'll have to break this up into 2 segments. You let me know what fits you and your tribe.
Oh, let's rock and roll.
All right, number 5, breathing. Let's talk a little bit more about breathing. All right, here's the deal. If you Google search it, it's almost like fat loss. 3 million sites going to tell you 3 million different things. You're going to get confused. So if you've been listening to this long, you've invested the time and you respect me and Todd enough. Just do these 2 simple things with breathing. Let's break it down. Todd, if you're reading something and someone said, slow breathing's really good, and then you read some other things and said fast breathing's really good, you know what? It's yin and yang. I think they're both good. So I'm going to give you a slow technique and a fast technique that I really like. So here's the slow breathing technique. Let's just say this. Anytime that you can breathe air in your nose, you because that's the way God designed our body to take in air. It's probably going to work a little bit better. It's not 100% necessary. You got the nose hairs in there, warms it up, moisturizes it a little bit, filters it out a little bit. Just try to breathe in your nose and out your mouth most times. If you can't do it, that's fine, but it's probably will work a little bit better. And so here we go. Here's the slow breathing technique. And I got this from someone I really respect, Wim Hof, the Iceman. This is pretty remarkable, Todd. I want you to try this, and I can hold it around and tell me if you see yourself doing this. So, tell me your experience. So, if you were to have a bet with your best buddy, and you've probably done this before, say, how long can you hold your breath? Or when you're a kid, how long can you go underneath the water for? What do you think is average, Todd? How long do you think you can hold your breath in like a challenge with your buddy? How many minutes?
Oh, I don't even think I can go more than a minute and a half.
I think 90 seconds is very, very average. That's probably where I was until I tried this technique. And Wim Hof did it with Lewis Howes. I saw the video, and this is what he did. And I went from a minute and a half, and then 2 days later, guess how long I held my breath after I did this technique twice? Take a guess. How many minutes?
Maybe 2?
5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Wow, 5 minutes and 20 seconds. How did you go from 90 seconds to over 5 minutes?
This is the technique that allowed me to do it. So you probably ought to lay down or lay back in a chair just in case, just you start to feel a little bit dizzy. I did not at all. Everybody I've ever shared this with did not have any problem, but that's what they said, so I sort of agree with it. So all it is you want to try, you put your fingers on your stomach so that you can try to get more into belly breathing, which is going to allow the diaphragm to come down where the stomach usually is. And when your belly button area comes out like a baby when you're breathing in, the diaphragm can come down a little further and use a little bit more of the capacity of the lungs. That's all belly breathing or baby or diaphragmatic breathing is. And you'll get better at this as you get into it. So with your fingers on your stomach and slowly breathe in the nose, about 3, 2, 1, breathe in, and then blow out, 3, 2, 1. Feel the stomach, the fingers on your belly button come in towards the spine as you let the air out. You don't force it in, you don't force it out. It's not intense, but it's not really shallow. It's just medium. Real slow, long breath in. 3 seconds and blow it out. 3 seconds in. You're trying to relax and you're not forcing it. You're trying to relax the breath in and blow out. You do 30 relaxation breaths. So like the last 15 of the 30, you're able to belly breathe a little easier as long as you're not forcing it in and not forcing it out. So it's 30 slow belly breaths in and out. And then after 30 slow belly breaths, and as I said, the last 15, you're able to relax and belly breathe a little better as long as you don't force it in or force it out. After 30 of those, you take a slow, long, deep breath in and hold it for as long as you can. That's it. 3 cycles of that. So the first time you do that, Todd, you'll get about a minute and a half, maybe minute 45 if you're an average person. And then once you let that long breath out, wait about 15 seconds and do some catch-up breaths. And then just do the cycle over again. And you'll increase by holding it by a minute because everything just relaxes and lets loose a little bit better. And then again, let that second long breath out and then do it a third cycle. And you'll increase by about 45 seconds to a minute every time. That's all I did. By the second day, I couldn't believe it myself. I took a screenshot of my phone's timer and I sent it to my buddy who I was doing the experiment with. And he experienced about the same thing.
Wow.
And I got it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's incredible. I was just, as a breather, we're all breathers. I had never learned that technique and I'm just fascinated by it.
It really is. And I should have started this whole talk by saying my default personality is I'm not analytical. I don't need proof. I'm not a scientific, analytical mindset. I believe everybody. And so I try everything. And I'm open-minded. Now, there's some people that need proof. They need data. And if you need that kind of information, you're going to have to go and get some research. I'm not going to give it to you in my book because I don't want to slow down enough to do that. I just want to preface everything by saying there is scientific, analytical data evidence of everything I talk about the incredible health benefits of the technique we just said. Many more benefits than just being able to hold your breath. But Wim Hof and scientists will talk about your immune system is increased, your stem cell is increased, your everything, and your not everything, but a lot of things in your body is so much better after that breathing technique. Does that make sense, Todd?
It makes total sense. And I'm one of those geeky type people that, I love the information. I'll go out and do it. And then once it's like, I see it working, I got to know what's going on in the body, right? That's just my personality. So that just is awesome information.
That's cool. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. And but what I see with someone that's hardcore, analytical, scientific data proof is not always, but in general, they don't have a faith in God. Because they need so much clear proof. And a lot of times that extreme person has paralysis by analysis. And they might know a bunch of stuff, but they don't act on it. Yeah. Not all, but that's what I see. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we went through the slow breathing technique, well, there's got to be a fast technique that probably has some benefits that's different. Tony Robbins, my number one mentor, talks about it. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, but this technique, it comes from the yogis called Kapalabhati Pranayama. Okay? So how Tony does it, that technique is, it's about 30 breaths in, and he does a fast hand gesture because there's emotion comes from motion. So whenever you move things fast, there's a power and energy that comes from that, and it creates a perpetual movement. So he just, in rhythm with the quick breathing, he just pushes his hands in the air like that. And what it is, this type of, what's going to call this fast breathing, is you force the air out pretty aggressively as you pull your belly button in, and the breath in the nose is not as forceful. So it's in and then pop. So you breathe in, but you blow out this really quick, like 1 second in, 1 second out, with an emphasis on blowing the air out. And while he's moving his hands quickly, he'll do about 30 of those in a row, and then he'll take a long, slow breath in, long, slow breath out. And then he'll do another 1 second in, or even like a half second in, half second out, and more emphasis on the blowing air out. When you blow it out, you think maybe pull your belly button in towards your spine. Does that make sense, Todd?
Oh, it makes total sense. And I loved what you said about, emotion. Inside of emotion, there's motion, and there's power to that, and incorporating that in these breathing techniques is just critical.
Okay, so that's the fast breathing technique that I've used that I've realized and felt benefits from. All right, number 6, grounding, earthing, walking without your shoes. Man, it is amazing. I was forced into this. I trained world famous Dr. Joe Mercola, who always came to workouts in his bare feet. He looked like a hillbilly. No offense, my mom was a hillbilly, because the bottom of his feet were all cracked and brown. And you know what? I didn't really look too far into the benefits of walking with no shoes on. But we all, maybe not all, but most of us remember the Vibrams that came out, really popular, the shoes. They were onto something, right? So I was forced into wearing no shoes outside because I had full hip replacement surgery. Couldn't put my socks and shoes on. So I only missed 2 days of work for a full hip replacement surgery. Driving to the first week I got picked up at my house, because legally you shouldn't drive. And then I would walk into my club with no shoes on. And so I started doing that, and I haven't put my shoes on since. I'll put my shoes on once I get to my club. But if you walk outside in the wet grass, there's 3 reasons specifically why walking without your shoes on and grounding works. For one, our electrical delicate balance of our body gets thrown off because of our stressful lifestyle. And the number one most negatively charged thing in the world is Mother Earth. And the reason why we say moist grass or the water by a beach moist, and the ocean is the most powerful negatively charged thing in the world, because that's a lot of water, right? So negative, positive energy that's in our body will go out faster through our body when it's wet. And number 2 is, so that's good. It's along the lines of grounding of electrical in a house, an outlet. Number 2 is the little bones and ligaments and tendons in my toes, feet, and ankle get numb over time, because it's like wearing a cast when you wear the big shoes that protect everything. And that's a problem. So I walk on my toes, I do calf raises and stuff, and starting to bring the functionality of all those little things in the bottom of my lower leg need. Number 3 is you can't walk fast, so you got to slow down. And when I'm walking slow, we're going to talk about, I say I do have enough time. I do have enough money. I do have enough resources to live my best life now. I'm not in a hurry versus how many people are in a hurry going to work in the morning?
Oh, almost everybody.
Well, would it be nice to whistle and skip like a kid for 15 minutes during that instead of feeling rushed? What do you think that's going to do difference in your core system?
Oh, it's like I've talked about earlier, the power of the morning routine, getting out there, slowing down, doing grounding. And you know that I'm a big fan of grounding, that I sit here. And even as we're recording this podcast, I'm sitting here with a grounding mat. I just think that's starting your day, grounding, getting your energy aligned, getting, your biome in place just will set you up, create the foundation that everybody's going to need to really live the life they want and that they desire.
And Todd, proof's in the pudding. I was forced into walking outside in the morning with no shoes on because my foot replacement surgery, and I felt the difference. When you feel the difference, it's a game changer. And another thing with grounding, there's about 5 other reasons why walking barefoot works. But another one is microorganisms that come to you through the skin from the earth that are helpful to our body's system. It's really quite amazing. So that's why people should walk with no shoes on. Number 7, I call it going 100% down the truth barrel. That's sort of what Gary Vee, one of my mentors, how he describes it. And that is, we all have heard, if you're thinking something and you don't say it, and it's going to sit there, it's going to fester, it's going to take energy away from you down the road. So if you're thinking it, say it. Get it off your chest. And as long as even if it's easier to do it to strangers and sort of slight acquaintances, but it's harder to do in close love relationships. If you say what you're feeling 100% down to how you're really feeling, and you say it, as long as you're not vindictive, you don't rip somebody's head off, they're going to respect you for it. But you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for yourself. It's a game changer. Some people have an easier time doing this, but in general, Todd, I don't know what you see, but most people don't say what they're feeling. Political correctness, they're scared, and it sits there as investors, and it's a big problem. Super liberating when you say exactly how you're feeling. Would you agree?
Oh, I agree. Say it and own it. That's my motto, right? Say it and own it.
And that's number 7. This is a big, big area. It changed my life when I started telling, you know what? I got to a point where I almost burned through my family. I lost my ex-wife. I know that sounds like a country song, and I needed to. That sounds like a country song, but I did. But I got my kids back, but I almost burned through my entire family because I was so driven and I was so out of balance, and I wasn't saying how I was feeling. I don't think I was in love ever with my ex-wife, and I was married for 19 years. How in the hell does someone spend 19 years with a woman and try to raise a family and not love her at all? Because I didn't say what I really felt. I knew it before I got married. And I just, you just go through the motions and you're like, it just, one year turns into the next, and it almost killed me, Todd. It almost freaking killed me. And when I almost took my own life, about 8 years ago, after I thought I'd lost everything, about a year after that, I finally got to the point where I started going 100% down the truth barrel, and it was about a 6 to 7 year process of me rebuilding what I tore down in my own system to get. Now I'm very, very confident. It's very easy, but it's a work in progress, and it's a game changer once people start to do it.
Oh yeah. No, that's absolutely true. Get it out there, be honest with yourself, and stay in alignment with what you want to do, and that people will respect it. It shows you respect for other people, and it really shows that you will put out there what you want, and you will get that back tenfold. So,
all right, here we go. Number 8. I call it thoughts and words and actions are so powerful. We know that over time, our thoughts, words, and actions are going to dictate exactly our position in life, personal responsibility. 10 of the most powerful 2-letter words in the world. 10 of the most powerful 2-letter words in the world. If it is to be, it is up to me. It's not what you're born into. It's not someone else. It's not the President Trump. It's not your family. It's not your mom. It's not your dad. It's you, mofo. It's you. All right, so here we go. Our thoughts and words or actions are so important. I call this the one-day positive mindset challenge. This is probably the mindset reset hack of all time. For one day I challenge you to work best, probably partner with a friend to hold you accountable, and you will not hold on to one negative thought or word the entire day. It's not to say you don't have a negative thought or word. It's just that once you have it, you let go of it and you rephrase the thought. So here it is. I call it the Tony the Tiger Challenge. So this is the most easy way to get started. Todd, just say that we're general acquaintance. Say you're a client of mine, you're coming to the club, and I'm like, hey, Todd, how you doing? What's going on? How you doing, man? What are you going to say?
The standard answer is, I'm great. I'm doing well.
Yeah. Well, you must hang around a lot of positive people, because a lot of times I'll hear people say, hanging in there, or I'm okay, hanging in there. And the person that has said hanging in there has probably been saying for 3 decades, and they don't realize the power of the words of their actions. Usually when they say hanging in there, their voice tonation goes down. And when their voice tonation goes down, they don't feel good about what they're feeling. So what I say is, I say stop. And I make a game out of it. I say, all right, from now on, anytime I or anybody else asks you how you're feeling, I want to hear Tony the Tiger. And depending on how old they are, they'll sort of turn their head and be like, what? I want to hear Tony the Tiger. I'm great. And they'll laugh, because Tony the Tiger was the Kellogg's mascot. And you remember Tony the Tiger, right?
I absolutely do.
Okay. And usually they'll laugh, and we'll say, okay, for the whole day, anytime I ask them how they're feeling, they got to play Tony the Tiger. And they laugh about it. And then, like 3 hours later, if I ask them how they're feeling, they might forget. They'll be like, oh, I'm okay. And they'll stop, and they'll laugh, and then they'll say, I'm great. And so that is a way to get people to catch a negative thought or feeling that's not ideal and rephrase it. Now, for the whole day, anytime someone says something in this one-day challenge and it's not completely 100% positive, like if they say, whatever it is, you stop, and you say, whoops, what I meant to say was, in the past I was this way, but going forward I'm going to do this. So you rephrase it, you catch yourself, and you do not let yourself hold on or say a negative thing, and you rephrase towards a positive possibility. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. It's one of the things I always do is that even if I'm, having, I don't want to say a down day, but, I'm not feeling my best, I'm not on my A game, I'm going, you know what? Not on my A game today, but I'm getting better every minute. So that allows me to make sure that I'm on that upslope going up.
Absolutely. And quite often, when I ask a client how they're doing, they're going to be like, I'm not good. I'm fighting with my husband. They tell me I'm like, what's wrong? And if they're saying I'm having a bad day, I'm like, dude, you are not having a bad day. You know what a bad day is? Do you remember about a month ago, Todd, or 2 weeks ago, when the Southwest airplane window got busted open by the broken engine, the lady got sucked out the window? That's a fucking bad day, all right? In the grand scheme of things, dude, you're not having a bad day. You're working out with the trainer. You're paying me $150 an hour, and you tell me you're having a bad day? No, this is not a bad day. People get caught in that trap of saying I'm having a bad day, and it's ridiculous in comparison to what kind of a bad day they could be having.
Yeah, it's only a matter of perspective.
Absolutely. All right, number 9. We're going to call this the water hack. All right? Todd, did you know that if you go towards drinking a gallon to a gallon and a half of cold water a day, and anybody can do that, that in 1 month's time of just doing that you will burn off 3 to 5 pounds of body fat per month. Did you know that?
Wow, that's incredible. I would never have thought it was that much.
Simple thermodynamics. And somebody I respect, Tom Benuto, Burn the Fat, Feed the Muscle, super analytical. They did the test, and it's different. Maybe 2 to 4 to 5 pounds of the body fat per month is burned off by simple thermodynamics. Think of it. If you drink in very, very cold water and you urinate it out at 95 to 96, 98 degrees, however cold urine is, the energy it takes to warm up that cold water, a gallon to 2 gallons a day, is 2 to 5 pounds Energy expenditure is, you can do the math, 3,500 calories to burn off a pound of fat. It burns off 2 to 5 pounds of body fat. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go, and plus it's good on your body filtration system, your kidneys, your liver, get stuff out easier. We know that. So let's go towards drinking 1 gallon to 2 gallons of cold water a day. That might blow some people's minds, but hey, if you're drinking no water, let's just go a half a gallon of water. It's a work in progress. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to harness what the Eastern culture has been doing for thousands of years. Before you start drinking water, I'm going to give you a creatine water hack. You're going to drink warm/hot water first, which the East has been doing with a drop or two of essential oil lemon in it. And you're going to put 1/3 of a teaspoon of creatine in it. Dr. Joe Mercola told me last month something that I thought, and I shot a video on taking creatine with warm water 2 years ago, but I went away from it. He said they did some research, and I went to Dr. Mercola's father's life celebration, so it was like non-business like. He's talking to me as a friend. He said, Darin, I feel the difference for the first time with creatine. So what you do is you put 1/3 of a teaspoon of creatine in water, so like 1/3 less than the recommended dose. Put a lemon in there, or 2 or 3 drops of essential oil lemon. And the first thing you do is you harness the power of warm water on your organs to kickstart the blood and help the filters in your body out, your liver and your kidneys. And that's what the Eastern people have been doing for generations. So we start by doing that, and then after that, then I take my hot cold shower in the morning. Then I start with the cold water after that. Does that make sense, Todd?
It makes sense. And, I love how you're starting to tie these things together into a routine of health.
Awesome. All right. So let's go on to number 10. Number 10, incantations, mantras. Some people call it cheerleading, positive thoughts. Well, some people say positive thoughts don't last. You need a lot more than positive thoughts. Well, if you do an incantation or mantra and you wire it into your nervous system and you do it over repetitions over time and you say it like you mean it and you do the work for years, it's going to help rewire your thinking process at a deep subconscious level. All right, so the one that I like that you heard me say earlier, and I want you guys to do this tomorrow, is people in general think they don't have enough time. They think they don't have enough money. And they think that they got to know somebody, they don't have the resources. But it's all bullshit. But if you believe it, it's true. But I'm here to tell you, you do have enough time. You do have enough money. You do have enough resources to live your best life now. The goal, when you hit it, it's not going to be as fulfilling as you think. It's the journey anyway, my friends. So if you stand tall and you say it out loud and you hold your fist in the air and you feel it in your heart as you're saying it and you see the success in the theater of your mind, I know this is a lot, but if you tie all these things together, it's going to work faster for you. How can you say something that you don't believe, like that you got enough time, you got enough money? How can you feel it in your heart in a genuine way? Maybe you can't. But here's what I say. As you're saying it, Todd, I remember when my dad, when I was 10 years old, bought me a YZ80 motorcycle, and it was like the most incredible gift I ever had. I remember when I got my first Easton aluminum baseball bat that my dad bought me. It was like $75, $100 back in 1975. It was a big deal. I felt elated. So I know what that feels like. When I think about that to this day, my heart purrs like a just a true love, right? So if you can't feel it in your heart, think back to a joyous time in your life, and when you think about that, you get the feeling in your heart. That's how I get the feeling in my heart when I'm faithing something that I maybe don't believe in. So when you're saying the incantation out loud, with standing tall, with a loud voice, I do have enough time, I do have enough money, I do have enough resources to live my best life now. I'm seeing success in the theater of my mind and a screen in my mind. I'm feeling that feeling in my heart, and I'm saying it out loud. That's the grand trifecta right there. You do that, and it's going to work, Todd.
Well, you're going back to what, you had said previously, and you're just making this a stronger point. This incantation, the mantra, or what I would call sometimes the affirmations, are key to incorporate the visualization, which you just spoke about, and also bringing emotion into that process. But what's even more impressive in my mind is that as an ex-baseball player using the Easton bat, I got you, brother, because that is a great memory for me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Man, it's golden stuff, man. One more thought on here. So the incantation that I just used here I love it, man. It's amazing. Can the people listening, Todd, can you imagine the average person is stressed out, dual incomes, they're just trudging through life. When they start to actually believe they have enough time, they have enough money, they have enough resources to leave a legacy behind. See, if people believe they don't have enough resources, it's not for lack of resources, it's for a lack of resourcefulness. Ask a better question. What is thinking? Thinking is nothing more than asking and answering questions in your own head. If you're in a shitty spot in your life, it's because you're thinking shitty and you're asking shitty questions. What would Tony Robbins say? What would Darin Steen say? What would Todd Junkin say? That's what you got to play games with yourself. Life is a mind game, my friends. Ask a better question. If you can't come up with a better question, say, what would Tony Robbins say? What would Darin Steen say? And just play the game. And then over time, you can come up with better questions.
Yeah, no, I always tell everybody that the quality of somebody's answer to you is in direct proportion to the quality of the question you asked of that person. So ask a better question.
Awesome. Nice. Number 11. Woo! This is a lot, Todd.
Woo.
Number 11.
Let's roll.
A standing desk. A standing desk. It changes the game. It changes everything. Do you think if I was sitting, I could pull this episode off? No, if I'm sitting, I can't. I stand up. I get prepared for this. Energy flows when you're standing and open things up. A standing desk changes everything. You don't have to get an expensive treadmill desk. I'm sitting. If people could see my standing desk right now, they'd laugh. I'm at my shop, the transformation station in South Chicagoland. If I'm at my house, I find a couple boxes. I put them on the table. I put my laptop on a couple boxes. Voila, there's my standing desk. It changes everything when you work and you from a standing desk.
No, I couldn't agree more because for full disclosure, everybody, this is part 2 of a series, but we just recorded the first part just yesterday. I know you're going to be hearing this a week apart, and I recorded it from my new podcast studio, which is part of it has a standing desk incorporated in it. Today, I was doing some post-production work just before the interview, so now I'm sitting down, and I can feel the difference in my energy between yesterday's recording and today's recording. So I couldn't agree more, and I think sitting is actually killing us.
There's an article Dr. Joe McCullough put out. I've seen some other people that's probably sensationalizing a little bit, but they say sitting's the new smoking. They're saying physiologically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, structurally on your organs, it's really not good. There's something called tech neck, and that is shoulders rounded forward, heads down, into your cell phone. We're ashamed we're using it as much as we can. People want to hide it. It's very, very common. I go walk down wherever I'm at, and I see entire families at fucking dinner time. All 4 to 5 of them, the kids, the mom and dad, they're slunched over their cellular device. I want to go over there and slap them. I really do. And I'm sorry, but eating dinner time with the family is not, get off the technology, man.
Yep.
We've really lost touch with simple things that could really make a big difference. Talk to the family. If you're not talking to your family at dinner time, when the hell are you going to talk to them?
Oh yeah, and not only that, it's those simple moments that research has shown that leads us to our happiest events. Right? Put the cell phone down, have a conversation. Period.
All right. So number 12. Woo! Holy mackerel, Todd. Number 12. Close the files. / clear the clutter. All right. So for me to be this focused and to do this episode, I got to close everything up. On my computer, the windows are shut off. I got to close my mind up. Guys, we're good at one thing. Why? Because we were designed to kill the animal to bring home for the family. And the woman is, not to be stereotypical, but she's got to be multitask to take care of the kids, right? So guys work best when we got tunnel vision, laser focus on one thing. Close your computer screens down if you've got to use technology. Number 2, physically, I have 6 fitness businesses that are making money that I believe are growing into multi-million-dollar businesses. And Todd, I'm going to give you a visual right now. All 6 of my businesses are right here in manila folders, closed up, before I do this interview, before I work on the next business, before I train the next client, I close every file in my, it's in one, everything is in one place, but it's all closed. And that way I can focus on talking to Todd and the Reignite Nation. Otherwise, everyone's different. I don't know where you're at in your life. Maybe you can focus what's in windows open, but I promise you over time it's going to burn you out. This is the day and time of ADHD. Give someone a pill. We got so many windows open, so many people trying to get our attention, so many people trying to market to you that it's going to wear on you over time. You're going to get to a place where you can't function very well. If you want to really be powerful, close the file.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And this is kind of a key pillar of reigniting, and that I describe in my book. I think, technology has progressed faster than we are able to adapt. And multitasking is a myth, right? What you are doing when you are multitasking, you are just dividing up the resources you have naturally. And so instead of doing one thing great, you may be only, and women probably are a little better at this, doing multiple things okay. Right? Even I operate with multiple monitors, and I have what I call my focus monitor. So if I have something up, it's because it's a reference that I need and I need it quickly. Other than that, I only have one thing open, even though I work with multiple monitors. Focus is key. Close the files. Focus in on the task at hand.
So a subset of number 12, close the files, is clear the clutter. So we all know, most of us hopefully know what it feels like to clean the garage out in the springtime, to clean our dresser drawer top off at the house, to spring clean the yard, or to clean the clutter off your computer desktop, to get rid of the clothes in your closet, to go towards a minimalist life. So clear the clutter, clean one thing at a time this week. Clean your computer desk screen off. And I'm telling you what, you guys know it. This isn't nothing new. But when you let go, it opens up your mind to be more focused, and it's freeing and liberating, and more energy, more positive is going to come back to you. Clean the clutter.
Oh no, I couldn't agree more. About three years ago, I read a book by Marie Kondo, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and it literally changed my life. I was already a kind of a neat, tidy person to begin with, but the reasoning behind that, how effective I am when my desktop isn't cluttered, my desk isn't cluttered. It's just amazing. I couldn't emphasize that enough on the changing moment that had on my life.
All right, Todd, and the Reignite Nation. Last one. I could go on and on, but we got to end this episode here quick. Well, we don't have, we don't have to do anything. We can go on for another hour if we want to.
We're good. This is some, I know we're going to go to the last one here in 14, but the 13 previous hacks are literally life-changing. Literally life-changing. And if everybody takes a look at this and can adopt one thing once a day, once a week, and use it as a building block, your life will be transformed. Your life will be transformed. And I'm going through this, and I haven't seen one thing in here that cost any money to deploy. So,
Todd, that is a great point. People think they need to buy stuff. They think they got to buy stuff. And yes, we always, marketers say if they pay attention. I do agree with that, but I think the best things in life are free. I guarantee if the people listening today, Todd, I want you to act on 2 of these things today that take 10 minutes. Something I remind you of, or a new idea I gave you, and just ride that momentum. Because it's not in life, you know what? It's not knowing what to do, it's doing what you know. Whatever resonates with you, 2 things today. Yep. I want the people to do 2 simple things that take 2 minutes today that resonate. And I should have said at the beginning of this, please grab a pen and paper and write something down. Don't let it be fleeting in your ears and then out your brain. Yeah. Follow through on some of this stuff. Write it down. It's easy to do the science that if you write something down, it's going to be embedded in your brain and your psyche deeper and more firmly.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree. And, I challenge you at Reignite Nation to go out there, take 1 or 2 of these things this week as an action item and go deploy it. It doesn't cost you anything.
No, not this week. Not this week. Effing today.
You got that from Darin Steen, everybody. Today. Deploy this today. And
when you shoot the intro to this, please tell them that. And in the beginning, I want them to hear that. And I want them to have a pen and paper. Tell them to have a pen and paper, write down the things that resonate with them, and then act on 2 of them today before they go to sleep. And then get a hold of me on social media. I'll coach them for nothing. I coach thousands of people for nothing. I got private forums all over the place. I'll light a fire underneath their ass, and we'll take it to the next level. All right, last one. Journaling. All right, get a journal. It could be a spiral bound that the kids use in grade school, really cheap. Open it up every day, and get your ass out of bed and get your ass to sleep. That's when you write on that journal. It can be a to-do list. It can be emotional, getting a thought out of your head. It can be a goal-setting strategy. It doesn't matter. Get your thoughts out of your head. If you're pissed off at somebody, write it down. But start a journal. It changed my life. Brian Custis hired me in 2001 and said, dude, at Lifetime Fitness, he said, you are the best trainer I've ever seen in my life, but you're a wage slave. And eventually, he got me Tony Robbins CDs. He paid and sent me to the first Tony Robbins seminar. And he said, you got to create systems of what you're doing so you can write a book and you can train people how to do this down the road. It was about a 10-year process. He said, I've written in a journal for 5 years in a row, and it changed my life. And you know what? When I see a successful businessman and I see it right in front of me, it's more believable. So I started a journal back then. I have not had a day in my life since 2002 that I didn't wake up and write the day and the date down and write in my journal. Now, there's some days that went by and I wrote nothing down on that day because it spun out of control. But at least I wrote the day and the date down. And a lot of times I'll write a whole page, and it could be a goal. It can be I'm pissed off, get something out of my head. It can be a to-do list. And it's nice when you have some 3 or 4 to-dos and you cross them off, it's liberating to see you crossing things off of the to-do list. Start journaling today.
Yeah. Wow. Now, everybody, you have 14 life-changing hacks that you are going to pick 1 or 2 and start that today. You have to eat. You have to drink water. You have to bathe. All these things you're already doing. And Darin has just given you the keys to how you can take this and improve your life. Darin, thank you so much for being on the Reignite podcast today. That was magic. Now, I know if you haven't listened to part 1 of this podcast where Darin introduces his book, I encourage you, go back, take a look at it, or you can look at it on YouTube. You can go back and, listen to it on your favorite podcast device over on my website there. Darin, what's your last piece of advice for everybody? Because this is just so powerful. These are things and, things I practice, and that's why we have such a great relationship going on. But even today, I learned additional components of the hack. So always learning, always taking it in, always finding that new slant, that you can, deploy to bring happiness to your life. It's just goes beyond value.
Todd, what I'm going to say, the parting words of wisdom are going to be, I've experienced this in the past, and you have too, and that is when you go hang with someone face to face, and you hug them, you shake their hand, you look them in the eye, it makes it more real. I want everyone, and it's understandable that we see something on YouTube or hear a podcast, and we might not think that they're real, that they're marketing, that they're trying to pull something over on us. I want people to know I'm your buddy. I'm a real guy. I'm 52. I'm just like a good friend. Take today, if you never heard me before, and treat me like a friend and act on a couple of these things today. Because when you see, I just went to New York and I hung with some people, and when you can take some action when you hear something on the internet, but when you see them face to face, it takes it to a whole nother real level. Don't do that with me. I'm your buddy. I'm a real person. If you're in South Chicagoland, stop in my studio. If you're on YouTube, stop over at Fat Loss Lifestyle. You can search my name, come on Facebook, and treat me like a real person. But more importantly, you do have the power to change and act and do this stuff today because we're friends and I'm here for you. Don't wait for tomorrow, man. Don't wait for tomorrow.
Awesome. And that's some great advice. And with that, we'll leave it here. Thank you, Darin, for being on the Reignite podcast. And you have a wonderful day. I'm going to leave right now. I have my 2 items that I'm going to act upon, and they're going to start right now. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Reignite Podcast. If this episode resonated with you in any way, please share it with a friend. One of the greatest experiences as human beings is being able to mastermind as a group, where we get together and collectively share and build off of each other's energy. Reigniting is no longer about accepting life as it comes, but designing the life you desire. We are committed to bringing you thought-leading and thought-provoking discussions to inform and motivate you in finding the joy in your journey, no matter what road you choose to take. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Todd Judkins, or send me an email at connect@toddjudkins.com. I'd love to hear about your struggles, your successes, and your thoughts. Thank you for listening, Reignite Nation. And always remember, the joy is not only in the destination, but what life has to offer in the journey. We'll be back with another full episode on Tuesday and with a short Reignite message on Friday just to jumpstart your weekend. Until then, keep that fuse lit and reignite.